Ghost her completely and watch what happens next. This is the dark psychology knowledge that I'm diving deeper with you, gentlemen. What if I told you that the most powerful thing you could make right now, Isaac, is nothing at all? No texting, no calling, no desperate attempts to be understood, just silence. Will you have the strength to do it, Isaac? Think about it. Right now, your emotions are screaming at you to react, to text, to call her, to do something, anything, to remind her that you actually exist. What does that do to you, Isaac? It makes you weak and quickly proves her decision right. Let me tell you what happens when you do the silent, when you stop giving her the satisfaction of your attention. You become a ghost in her mind, and ghosts haunt people. She left. Maybe she ghosted you first. She quickly walked away, and maybe she knows that she can do better. Maybe she told you that she needed space, and now you are drowning in your own chaos of your mind, replaying memories, searching for answers. Nope. That is not how this story ends, Isaac. We are not doing that. We stopped that long time ago. Because today, Isaac, you become a different man. A man who doesn't beg or seek closure. A man who fully understands that the most powerful response, it is no response at all. And the moment, Isaac, you do this, the moment you ghost her completely, this is when everything changes. She starts to wonder. She starts to feel the unease, creeping sensation of loss. And she needs to feel that. Because let me tell you something about human nature. When something human nature takes granted for finally disappears, that messes up with the mind. That gives out a lot of questions that is so disturbing. That is the real torture. That is the real regret. That is the real pain, because it is in the psychological world. Number one thing is pain, Isaac. It is your greatest power, your greatest weapon. That sharp, suffocating feeling in your chest, and you feel like you just can't breathe. A lot of hurt, disappointment. The feeling sometimes you just can't explain. It's always dripping with pain. You can feel the sound of pain. You can sense that it's too much for you. It's too deep for you. And the endless loop of what ifs and what if only through your mind. It's so exhausting, isn't it? You want a release. You want to numb it. You want to erase it. You want to actually escape from it. But let me tell you something. This pain, it is your greatest weapon. Most men don't actually realize this, and they let the heartbreak consume them alive. They turn to distractions, drinking, and meaningless hookups for the hope of I am erasing the pain. I am dealing with the heartbreak. And sometimes even scrolling on her text, on her status, just to have a hint that she actually still cares. Nope. That is not how a man of his own path operates. That is not the life a man who is stoic lives on. The stoic man understands that the embodiment of action advances action. For they know one thing: what stands in the way, it does what? It becomes the pathway forward. Translation, so that you can understand this better. This pain, Isaac, it isn't here to break you. It is actually here to build you. You can drown in the self-pity. You can let this heartbreak define you. You can let it turn you into someone who is totally broken, with no purpose. Or you can actually use it. Use the anger, use the rejection, use the betrayal feelings, and forge it into someone who can never be broken again, who can never be shaken again. Because here is the one fact that most of you guys don't see. Pain wakes you up, forces you to evolve. Think about every powerful man in history, every legend, every king, every man you have been admiring. They all suffered behind the curtains, or maybe you are aware of their suffering. But what separated them from the weakest men, they took that suffering and turned it into strength. They channeled their pain into discipline and misery into something actually far greater. And that is exactly what you need to do right now. You need to feel that pain. You don't need to numb it. You don't need to run back to her. You don't need Isaac to reach out to her now. Use it to become a man who will never feel that pain again. And trust me, when she realizes that you didn't break, when she notices that her living didn't destroy you, yet it turned you and transformed you into someone greater, she is now going to regret everything. If you are done letting pain control you, then feel it, live in it, and master it, so that you can never feel the pain again. Even when the next time it hits you, it's easy, it's lighter, it will burn in a shorter period of time. It becomes normal. It's something you are aware of. There is no crying, there are no questions. There is you not trying to convince her to stay. There is you not trying to seek for answers. It's totally different, unique. You let it bounce back with peace. And in that chaos, you realize that you are actually thriving, moving forward with your head high. Why? You've already experienced it. You've already mastered it. You have already realized that even you need pain for you to grow. You admire the pain. Let me tell you something that you are not always informed men. The best reaction, it is no reaction. Silence is the one thing that most can't actually handle. The one thing that messes with their minds more than anything else in this life. And yet, it is still the most powerful move. Because right now, she expects you to beg, get emotional, ask why, because that is what most men do. But nope, not you, Isaac. You are completely different, unique. You are not like most men. See, when you react, Isaac, you show and you communicate attachment. So you lose. Because the second they think that they have power, since you are attached, she is in control of you, she loses the respect she had for you. She was all right. You were not as strong as she thought you were. Let's talk about the power of being unavailable and its own art. You see, Isaac, availability, it is a curse. The more accessible you are, the less valuable you become. People only crave what feels out of reach, and they try so hard to retain it because it has so much of importance. And now, Isaac, that is exactly what you are going to do, becoming unreachable. Right now, she thinks she can reach out whenever she wants. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe after a month, and you can quickly accept her back. No. Let her never assume that you will always be there waiting for her, because that is when she is entirely wrong. See, when a man is easily available and easily accessible, it only communicates one thing: I am his mission, I am his obsession, and I am his ambition. And that, Isaac, that actually is a major turn off. Because real value, real power, it comes from a man who is busy with his own life, too busy building his empire. And he's not actually sitting there waiting for someone to validate him, waiting for Hannah, who walked away, to give him hope. And this is why you must always master the art of being unavailable. This isn't a game, Isaac. You are not just being unavailable because you are applying a game maybe to accommodate Hannah or to send a signal that she can't easily access you. You see, when you are applying a game, Isaac, you haven't entirely detached from her, because psychologically you are still applying some energy so that to get a specific return for you to have what you think it's what will fulfill you. So you have removed yourself from that situation physically, but emotionally and psychologically you are still inside. So it is a game. And I am not even communicating that you should ignore people. But remember, this has to work if you entirely, fully disengage and detach from her. Let her play her own games, her own expectations. Because it will affect you psychologically. You have to entirely remove yourself from the situation psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. so that you can fully move on without acting in a certain way to get a specific return. When you entirely built your empire without expecting someone who walked away from you to validate you or to come back for you, this is the real deal. This is the one thing that no one wants to face in their life. You are working on yourself, building an empire, and not even seeking for validation. You are doing it for you. This is the most dangerous man, the silent man who works on himself. He doesn't need distraction. He's not doing this to prove a point, but to move on. Women get obsessed with these men. So Isaac, this has to be real. You have to actually build your life and you mean it. Are you a new member? Welcome on board.